Hello everyone. In my previous class, I explained the chemical change first example. In today's class, let us see. In first example is rusting of iron. Completely regarding rusting, everything I have explained. So let us see the second example regarding the chemical change. So we are in the concept of chemical change. What is mean by chemical change? One or two new substances formed. So let us see second example. Examples are very important in exam point of view. Let us see the second example, very important. Second example is burning of, second example is burning of magnesium ribbon. Burning of magnesium ribbon. So what is meant by magnesium ribbon? Magnesium ribbon is nothing but it is looks like an aluminum only. A small thin sheets are formed like looks like wires only. Small wires are there. If we are burning all these ribbons and all. So then what happened? Magnesium undergo burning process. Burning usually in presence of air takes place. So in without air and all there is no burning process. Candle lightning is also takes place in air only. So likewise, so air is very important. So then what happened? It produced ash. Finally what happened? After burning of this magnesium ribbon, this is a magnesium ribbon, it is stripped like a small strips like aluminum only. After burning process, ash is produced. So now what happened here? Then I took this ash in a beaker. And I have added water. So water is there. I added this ash. I have added ash also. Whatever the ash produced from this burning process. So then what happened? Now I applied a litmus paper. So then I took the red litmus paper. Red litmus paper. What happened to this red litmus paper? So now red litmus changes to blue litmus paper. Red litmus changes to blue litmus paper. So initially, first of all, let us see chemical change in this. What is chemical change? Magnesium is there. Air means particularly I told you oxygen. This will produce the magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide. This magnesium oxide formula is MgO. Now a new substance is formed. That's why this is the best example for chemical change. But after this ash is produced, so now that MgO in water produces the magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium hydroxide is a base. So base turns the red litmus to blue. To know the litmus concept, in my previous classes, in previous chapter of acids and bases, I clearly explained the litmus and how the changes of litmus takes place. How do we identify acid or base? Please watch that video. So then what happened here? Red litmus is converted into blue litmus. So it represents a base is formed. So this is very important in examination also. They are asking burning of magnesium is a chemical change or not. It is a chemical change because new substance is formed. Dissolving of magnesium oxide in water, magnesium hydroxide is produced. How it changes the litmus paper? It changes into red litmus to blue litmus paper. Now let us see the third example, which is also very interesting and important. Third example is nothing but if we are taking vinegar. So usually in our chemistry we are taking vinegar is nothing but 4 to 8%. But generally we are taking 4 to 20% dilute acetic acid or 4 to 8% of acetic acid. Particularly in chemistry, we are considering this for reactions and all. So otherwise, normally also 4 to 20% of dilute acetic acid. Acetic acid is nothing but vinegar. So here vinegar, to this vinegar, in a beaker I took the vinegar solution. So then what happened? I have added the baking soda. I have added baking soda. Like nothing but take the normal any cool drink. add baking soda. Then what happened? It bubbles out. So then what happened if I have added baking soda? Whenever I have added baking soda, so then usually it bubbles out. Usually bubbles are produced. Here also what happened? Bubbles are produced and a gas is also produced. Gas is produced. It bubbles out the gas. Along with gas, some other substance is also produced. Other substances are also produced. That is not our area of interest. What happened here? Gas is produced. This gas is nothing but carbon dioxide. If you take vinegar and baking soda, carbon dioxide is produced. Very, very important. So what is acetic acid formula? CH3COOH. What is baking soda? NaHCO3. So then what happened? CO2 is produced. New substance is formed. That's why this is what we call it as chemical change. So in this chemical change, very, very important. Now we are slowly sending these vapors. We are slowly sending all these into the test tube. We are sending all these into the test tube, which is having lime water. Usually what happened here, this is what we call it as vinegar. This is vinegar and we are adding baking soda, so gas is formed. This gas is nothing but carbon dioxide. This gas is entering into the lime water test tube. Whenever lime water is there, what is lime water? Calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide is a lime water. So that lime water turns to a PPT. That means, say for example, a curdy white precipitate is formed. A curdy white precipitate, like it looks like a curd only. That's why this is what we call it as curdy white precipitate is formed. In this also what happened? Carbon dioxide is enter into lime water. Lime water. So this carbon dioxide enter into lime water. Then what is lime water? CaOH twice. White precipitate. White precipitate is formed. This white precipitate is nothing but CaCO3 and releases the water molecules. So this white precipitate, whenever white precipitate is formed, this is a standard test. Standard test for carbon dioxide. Very, very important. So which of the following is a standard test for carbon dioxide? Vinegar reacts with baking soda, releases the gas. This released gas is now enter into lime water. A curd-like white precipitate is formed at the bottom. This white precipitate identifies that the gas is entered gas is carbon dioxide. From this we can easily identify the carbon dioxide gas is produced inside the beaker. So these are all very, very important examples for chemical changes. Let us see fourth example of chemical change, that is related to copper sulfate. So copper sulfate. Copper sulfate formula is CuSO4. So whenever copper sulfate, it is also having another name, blue vitriol. Very, very important competitive exams. In many competitive exams, they are asking what is blue vitriol. Blue vitriol is nothing but copper sulfate. So copper sulfate, when dissolved in sulfuric acid means H2SO4, gives blue color. Copper sulfate reacts with iron particles, produce green color. Why green color? Let us see. Copper sulfate reacts with iron. It produces ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate formula is FeSO4. Just this iron replaces the copper here and produce individual copper. This color of ferrous sulfate is green color. And in some examination they are asking other ones also. Brown precipitate. is formed on iron. That brown precipitate is formed on iron is because of this Cu atom. This is the fourth example of chemical change. Why it is a chemical change? Copper sulfate is converted into FeSO4 by reacting with iron. So here sometimes iron means they give nail screws. They are asking nails or screws. Sometimes they are giving blades. So all these are. So that's why if we dissolve nail in copper sulfate, what will be the color of the solution? It is green color because iron sulfate color. So this is about the fourth example. In this also new substance is formed. That's why this is also what we call it as a chemical change. Thank you.